Welcome to Deprogrammer. This is your host, R.A. Stone. If you haven't already, please subscribe to Deprogrammer channel, click that notification bell, like and share. My Twitter account is @REStone. Please feel free to follow me there for frequent updates and happenings as well. Things are going to get even more interesting as I get into the dream vision aspect of my legal case and situation with James Corey Goode and, by extension, David Wilcock, and how they defrauded me of vast amounts of my predictive dream vision information and that they then both twisted into disinfo, mutilated derivative works, and/or fake news. In this video, I will show you 22 of my dream visions filed onto the Colorado State Court record as evidence of my trade secret abilities that occurred during the course of litigation since early 2018 and where I foresaw things in dream states before they occurred in waking states. Now, Corey Goode and David Wilcock were well aware of my abilities during 2017, before I was aware of my abilities. This image is an energetic portal design artwork of mine that I titled Intuition and posted to my Instagram account page on February 27th of 2017. You can follow the link below to my Instagram account to see this for yourself. And this particular artwork of mine was shown at Corey Goode's public for-profit speaking event during August of 2017, Eclipse of Disclosure, held in Mount Shasta, California, during one of his associates' public talks. Now, this slide with my artwork was labeled by Mr. Goode's associate as Modern Day Shamans. No remedy or attribution was given to me at any time as the artist, and Mr. Goode intentionally avoided and evaded my efforts to inquire of him personally at this event about his use of my art and other matters, as he and his associates were receiving hundreds of my handwritten dream visions during this time period of 2017 due to my belief in their public frauds and schemes regarding dreams, aliens, and spirituality. Now, in order to keep these videos shorter, around 10, 15, or 20 minutes tops, the following affidavit filed on the court record February 12th of 2020 with my motion to void judgment pursuant Rule 60B(3)(4) and D3, this affidavit will be read and uploaded in shorter sections to accomplish this goal. The purpose for this video is to show by way of example, just like I did for the courts in this affidavit showing Judge Flynn, where he showed up as well in my dream visions along with the legal faux pas he made by unlawfully dismissing this case January 29th, 2020. The case is still open, and he must rule on other motions I filed since then. In this affidavit, I show where I saw things days, months, weeks, or years prior in dream visions, and you will see how real dream vision foreseeing works. And ultimately, I am hopeful that each viewer will start to understand how their own dream vision codes work and play out in their waking state reality and experiences. So, my trade secret dream vision codes are basically equal to being my own predictive linguistic computer coding, and whereby I emailed a big chunk of my predictive codes to James Corey Goode and, by extension, David Wilcock during 2017 by mistake and error, because I didn't really know at that time. I saw things first in dream states before the waking state occurrence. Now, real dream vision foreseeing does not require any faith or belief. It is a factual and observable thing. I repeat, real dream vision foreseeing of future events does not require any faith or belief. This is how I know that David Wilcock is a total dream psychic fraud, dream prophet fraud, and dream teacher fraud. He requires faith and belief that what he says is true, and maybe it'll happen someday. I, on the other hand, require no faith and no belief, and I in fact require that those be set aside. The only thing I do require, like I require of the courts and the presiding officer, is that the evidence be looked at, which entails me also explaining my particular dream vision codes. So essentially, in a fashion, my dream vision codes are like a foreign language or a computer language, and I have to explain what certain words are in my language and another person's language. So for example, in my dream vision language, when I see an airplane, it is not necessarily about me foreseeing I'm going to be going on an airplane ride. Airplanes in my dreams typically tend to be about timelines and as they relate to choices made by myself and others in waking states. So this is a part of my own dream vision language, and it may or may not be similar to someone else's. Now, once I began to realize in late 2017 and into early 2018 that I was being organized, stalked, and defrauded of my information for profiteering purposes by Goode and David Wilcock, I began due process of law April 18th of 2018. Now, I was hopeful Corey and David were the good, kind, honest, caring, and decent guys they present themselves to be publicly to hundreds of thousands and even millions of people. So I sent my presumptive pre-litigation affidavit complaint, or plaque for short, seeking answers that made sense with the vast amount of evidence I cited with specificity and presented for response, and I thought it would be a simple misunderstanding and that it would be cleared up. But boy, was I wrong about that. Instead, fast forward almost 2 years later, and now you can see the bit of hell that I've been through because of Goode and his associates trying to maintain their unlawful use of my work, my dream research, and related materials, and by extension, David Wilcock. And you can see over and over again, rather than them negotiate with me based on the factual evidence presented for response, they instead publicly and privately defame me. So if you want to know more about that and see the fuller details and a basic overview of the legal situation, please watch my recent objection to attorney fees YouTube video, and you can follow that link in the write-up below. You can also learn about how the CIA uses, or more accurately, misuses, the sleep-wake states of our consciousness for mind control by watching my 5th Info for the Court video, where I show the various declassified CIA documents where they use telepathic behavior modification for consciousness obliteration. You can also find that link in the write-up below, and watch and share that video. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's dive into the Dream Vision Affidavit. Affidavit and Tangible Dream Vision DV Trade Secret Evidence. I, Alyssa Christie Montalbano, plaintiff, being of sound mind and body, over the age of 18, affirm the following to be true and correct, and am competent to state the following. The following is a small sample from my now estimated to be over 2,000 plus hand-documented dream visions, DVs, comprising approximately 62 handwritten sketchbooks and journal books with many magical and highly interesting short stories, dream visions, inside and written on the front and back side of hundreds of pages per book, and whereby approximately 500 of these short stories were photographed, placed most typically into a digital PDF file, and email delivered to Goode during 2017, with some DVs dating back as early as 2006 and that are occurring now in waking states. The following show directly occurring examples of handwritten dream visions compared with the waking state events, all tangible. Here I will be showing and explaining 22 dream visions to give an idea of how mine work, how I see things before they occur, and how they connect together and the subsequent similar waking state events that occur some point after the dream visions. The following are tangible evidence that my trade secret claims are true and correct and are based in fact and evidence, and go from being a dream experience to being tangible intellectual property protected by law, and then become some form of waking state experience. The information contained in my dream visions are akin to a highly advanced computer predictive linguistic program, where there will be a certain amount of the things that will play out literally into waking states. No belief is required in observing the following facts and occurrences in the following examples. What is required is a willingness to look at, acknowledge, and accept the evidence for what it is. I do, in fact, require beliefs, false beliefs, about dreams be set aside, along with false beliefs that it is not possible to foresee the future in dreams. With those set aside, the evidence and the facts can and will be seen. It is due to disbelief in the truth that I have written this extensive affidavit and provided the attached packet of DV samples. Since it took me seeing hundreds of things occurring to actually be convinced I see things before they occur, I understand this need from others as well. Should more evidence be required after seeing and reading this affidavit and accompanying dream visions, I will provide it upon request. In the following dream visions or DVs, I have underlined some of the key words that link one dream vision to another dream vision, and where more data and information will be seen in another prior documented dream or one seen later on, and that will also link directly with waking state events and other associated events that are or will be occurring in some capacity. The reason why some things manifest literally into waking states and other things do not is explained in my award-winning book, Dreams: The Missing Text, and the main keys are love, truth, and desire. Let us begin. Dream Vision Samples 22. Number 1. DV, Changing King's Heart with Love. Progress. CDV Sample 1. A dream vision DV that is occurring right now, this waking state court situation, was documented in writing, intellectual property, in a rough draft format on June 14th of 2016, respectively titled Changing King's Heart with Love. Progress. This rough draft was emailed to the defendant, James Corey Goode, by plaintiff Alyssa Christie Montalbano, aka artist Ari Stone, me, on July 11th of 2017, with a group of other DVs. The following DV directly overlaps with another dream vision dated February 12th of 2018, titled What to Do If King is Still in Charge? Point Out Their Errors, and is in a rough draft format from my private literary works Dream Vision collection at home. In this first DV, there is a messed up court hearing occurring, and where the king/judge has a wooden broom-like staff and he is wearing puffy white long john pajamas. The pajamas are important because they connect with the creepy clown dream seen in DV sample number 14 and my having to wear brown pajamas. The broom is important to note because it shows this DV is associated with the DV linked with the Broomfield Court hearings on July 24th of 2018 and continuance hearing August 6th of 2018, and where a broom was also used in the DV showing that plaintiff would quickly win that case. See number 12 below. In Changing King's Heart with Love DV, the king/judge is wearing long johns because I later refer to Judge Flynn in another DV as Ranger John, which identifies Judge Flynn as the visiting soul seen as the king/judge. In the dream, the king judge is using his broom, which denotes the court and court orders, to skewer or beat people with it. I also seem to have a beating broom staff that I set aside and then disarm the king judge with a hug and set his beating staff aside, and I'm hopeful this is a good sign for the people. In waking states, the people is often used on court papers such as the people versus so-and-so. The dream closes with the trial, a kangaroo court hearing, being just for show to give the illusion of a fair trial while having nothing to do with any actual evidence, which is occurring now. The January 29th, 2020 orders are designed to give the illusion of there having been a fair trial, when no such thing occurred as all my evidence was actively ignored, to include the unrebutted April 18th, 2018 pre-litigation affidavit complaint, where I cited approximately 70 abbreviated instances of dream foreseeing, some being romantic organized stalked by Corey Goode and his associates, or derivative works being created by Corey. Yet a judgment was unlawfully rendered dismissing the case based on more fabricated and misleading evidence provided in the defendant's motion to dismiss, filed June 7th of 2019. The orders are based purely on Judge Flynn's opinion that it is not possible to see things in dreams before they occur, and it's his opinion that approximately 500 handwritten dream visions, stories, do not constitute intellectual property. Yet, the U.S. Copyright Office has issued me multiple copyrights attesting otherwise. Per another connected dream vision, Overcoming Prior Agenda with Love, see number 19, I have decided it's best to set my beating broom staff aside and to apply a kinder and more loving approach to see if we can rectify this debacle, so I can have a fair hearing of my case based on the facts and evidence, and I will comply with any orders issued in accordance with due process of law. Please note, all these dream vision samples are in their original raw and rough draft format that I will be reading, and as documented at random hours of the night or otherwise, so they're not going to be in a super beautiful or perfectly written final draft version. Exhibit BB DV Sample 1, 4 pages. Changing King's Heart with Love. Then we were at some kind of messed up court hearing. 4 people were dressed up like Old Kingdom and court jester style, were let through the ropes by the bouncer to have interactive hearing seats or just be close to the king/judge. The king/judge came down from the front pedestal court area to around where I was. He was dressed in his sort of puffy white long john pajamas, and he had a long wooden broom-like handle staff, only it was squared up instead of rounded. I made myself step out of the crowd sitting area and up to the king. He was acting all arrogant, ego-based, and showing how they handle traitors or bad guys by making a show of using his wood broom handle to skewer them like a sword, or to use it like a fighting staff. I gently grabbed and took it from him, using my pretty looks to dissuade him to be okay, and not doing anything other than what I was doing, but hoping my looks would allow me to do it without being harmed, and said, "You don't need this to deal with others, you need this." And I gave him a nice, soft, warm, heartfelt hug, and Whisper said in his ear, "All you need is love." Then, or at the same time, I also projected that message to the crowd. Love is all you need. I let the king go from my embrace. He still tried to make an ego show, like saying, "No, you don't," but it carried no weight. More like a child that had lost, but was still trying to save face, or a bully still trying to look tough, though somewhat changed. I had originally grabbed his beating staff and set it with mine behind a door, like how the snowboard had been tucked out of his reach. To my left, I'd hoped he'd be more fair when judging the innocent people on trial now. They made me think of Alice in Wonderland, the Queen of Hearts trials, where it was all already predetermined and the trial was just for show, only to give the illusion of a fair trial. The king seemed softened, changed, and I took special note that I'd disarmed him and he'd gone back without his physical weapon. I'd hoped this was a good sign for the people. Two, DV, What to Do If King's Still in Charge. See DV Sample 2. In second overlapping dream vision titled What to Do If King's Still in Charge, Point Out Their Errors, here the king is the defendant, and I have to show and tell everything he is doing wrong and point out his errors and crimes. But again, it is taken into consideration with the king/judge overlap. In waking states, I have been pointing out the errors and crimes of the defendant both on and off this and other court records, and am once again doing so here along with pointing out judge errors as well. The reason for the overlap of the king/judge and Changing King's Heart with Love is because the defendant's filed motion to dismiss has been moved on or granted by the judge, yet the motion is based on fabricated evidence and thus the messed up hearing with the king/judge. This overlapping of people/souls is important to note because a similar thing occurred when Judge Flynn showed up in a dream vision prior to the May 14th, 2019 orders being issued. In that dream, it was more myself and Judge Flynn that were overlapping and piloting a plane. At that time, my papers were slightly more guiding the direction of the court orders, and we will see this in the next tangible dream vision example. Exhibit BB DV Sample 2. February 12, 2018 at 6:45 p.m. What to do if King's still in charge? Point out their errors. 11:47 p.m. What to do if the king is still in power? There were little PC white articles and I had to write them to show and tell what the king, CG, was doing wrong. It seemed there was aversiveness from an RR energy. As I was explaining, showing him, I didn't make the problems, I just saw them and was to point them out. I couldn't help what I saw. It seemed this was the second or third time now I was pointing out the situation, and they kept wanting to blame me for seeing things, but maybe something was getting through a little, like they were softening towards me some and thinking maybe I do see things and it's not my fault if it's things they don't like. And I can't help that I see things to warn them about, and that if they were choosing wrong or poorly, it was my job to point out the errors of their ways too, crimes against humanity, and it wasn't to be mean or anything like that, but it had to be done. Thank you for watching and listening to Deprogrammer channel. Be sure to click that notification bell to be alerted to the coming videos of this affidavit and for the videos where I'll be delving into Corey Goode's mental health claims and how the CIA's MKUltra mind control programs, neuroscience, and patented frequency technologies relate to his public claims. This is your host, R.E. Stone, signing off.